Is the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G worth buying in 2024? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, and this is the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. Now, this device has actually been out for quite a while at this point. In fact, it did launch back in April of 2022, so this phone is almost 2 years old since being launched. But I still want to make this video to kind of look back on it and see if it's still a worthy option. And in fact, this phone recently got updated to Android 14, so it is running the latest and greatest version of that software, along with Samsung's One UI 6. Now, I haven't really checked what this phone is going for if you want to buy it new or used, but I know it had an MSRP of $499, so I'd imagine at this point, with this device not really being new to the market, you can probably get it for a really affordable price. Now, unfortunately, the Galaxy A73 5G never officially launched in the US, so this is a global phone from Samsung, and I'm not really sure which markets it was sold in, but one thing's for sure, this phone is actually really good and has excellent specifications, and I'm looking forward to getting into all of that right now. First though, let's see what all comes included in the box. So as you can see, of course, this phone is in white. It does come in other colors as well, but in the box, we're not really getting a whole lot. We're really just getting this packet here. We'll open this up and see what we're getting. But yeah, we're pretty much getting a quick start guide, and then we're also getting a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. And we also have a SIM card removal tool. Now with the Galaxy A73 5G, we're getting a very large 6.7-inch display, and the display does feature Corning Gorilla Glass 5, so it is very durable, and that's especially impressive considering that this is a mid-range smartphone. Now this display features Super AMOLED Plus technology, and it does feature a 120Hz refresh rate. So really fast and smooth refresh rate here. This phone really does feel a lot more expensive than it actually is, and this display is excellent. You can probably tell somewhat through the video how great the colors are, but seriously though, the colors really pop. It looks fantastic. We're getting very small bezels all throughout too, with an 87% screen to body ratio. So this is a really sleek, great looking phone. In fact, I also really like the look of the camera module in the back of this device, and the fact that it does have a matte finish as well. So overall, I think it's a really nice looking phone. Now this display is 1080p, we're getting a PPI of 393, and we're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor. Now up top here, we're getting a 32 megapixel front facing camera, and then we're getting 128 gigabytes or 256 based on which version of the phone you get, and then we're also getting microSD card expansion. So even at that minimum storage capacity of 128 gigabytes, that's still a lot of storage. And then of course, if you do want to offload photos and videos to free up some of that internal space, you can always put in a microSD card into the device. Now, unfortunately, there is no wireless charging with the A73 5G. In fact, no A-series phones from Samsung support wireless charging at all. So if you do want wireless charging from Samsung, you'll have to get either an S-series phone or a Z-series phone. But this device does feature both Face Unlock and an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is really fast and responsive, so I'm definitely a big fan of that implementation. Now on the back of the device, we're getting a quad camera setup, so we're getting a 108 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that can capture images at up to 123 degrees. We're getting a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera and a 5 megapixel macro camera. And then we're also getting portrait mode with both the rear and front facing cameras. And then this device can also support 4K video recording with the front and rear cameras as well. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the device. This is with the main rear camera right now. In fact, I'm going to take a photo right now in the full 108 megapixels. So I just took that photo. Now, you do have an option to choose between that full resolution or if you want to do 12 megapixels instead. You probably will typically want to do 12 megapixels versus always taking your photos in 108 megapixels, just because there is that brief processing time, which you probably saw there for a second. But also, photos in 108 megapixels is going to take up way more space on your device and fill it up a lot faster. But I'll pull up that photo that is taken in 108 megapixels right now, and you can see how crisp and clear that is. You can really crop in and see a lot of detail there, so that's really nice. In addition to that, we're also getting the ultra wide angle camera, which is right here at 0.5. So with the ultra wide, you can fit a lot more content into a single frame here. We can also then switch over here via the More tab to go to the macro camera. So it's right there. And then with the macro camera, you can get very close up and have your image be in really good detail. So I'm going to take a photo right now. And you can see that's how it looks. So the macro camera is really nice too. And then also flipping around here to the front-facing camera, you can of course take selfies. There's an option here as well for group selfies. And then if you want to take a portrait selfie, you can do that too. So that's really nice. Now the Galaxy A73 5G is being offered in both 6 and 8 GB RAM variants. However, this one does have 8 GB of RAM. And then the processor is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G 5G processor. So that's a really nice processor from Snapdragon. And even up until now, the processor has held up really well, so I'm really happy with that too. You should definitely expect to get almost flagship level performance with this device. Again, it's been updated to 2 different versions of Android. I have Android 14 now on this, where it came with Android 12 originally, and the phone still runs super smooth, and you don't notice it being slower just because it's gotten newer versions of Android over the last several years. In addition to that, this device features a very large 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery, and it does support up to 25 watt fast charging. So not only are we getting a really large battery with this device, giving us excellent battery life, but you'll also be able to recharge that large battery very quickly. Now this phone does feature NFC, so if you do like to use Samsung Pay or Google Pay, you can do that here with this device. It's also IP67 dust and water resistant, which means the phone can go underwater up to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. And then we're also getting stereo audio with this phone too, which is really nice to see. We're getting both audio out of the main speaker in the bottom, but then also the earpiece when you're doing things like watching video content or listening to music. Of course, the earpiece still works also for phone calls, but a lot of lower end phones especially don't actually emit audio out of the earpiece other than just phone calls, and then you just get audio out of the main speaker. So unlike those devices, with the A73 5G, we're getting a very immersive audio listening experience. Now taking a closer look at the hardware of the Galaxy A73 5G, like I said before, I'm a big fan of this phone. We're getting such a large display here, which is great for watching video content because you can view it on this really big canvas here. But taking a look at the left side of the phone, we have nothing. On the right side, we have volume up, volume down, and also the power button. Up top here, we have the noise canceling microphone, and the slot for the SIM card and micro SD card. Then on the bottom of the phone, we have the microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the main speaker. And then on the back, we have the Samsung logo, the camera module, and that's pretty much it. And again, I'm a big fan of having this kind of matte finish on the back of the phone. Of course, I've been holding the phone for quite a while at this point, but you really can't see any fingerprints at all, which really can't be said for any phone that has a glossy back. But this concludes my video on the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G in 2024. I'm really curious to know what you think about this device and if you still think it's a worthy option. But again, I really like it a lot. It's really no different from when it was new, and if anything, it's better because it's gotten newer versions of Android and newer versions of Samsung's One UI, giving us extra features. But if you have this phone already, I'm really curious to know what you think of it. Again, this is Kevin here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.